while doing the videos. So uh, and the next thing is, don't try to grab everything. You cannot do that. Nobody can. They don't expect you to know everything. When the interviewers come, they don't want experts. If they wanted that, they would have gone to Google, not on a college. So if you don't know something, and the interviewer asks you and you have no clue about what it is or like that, so you can just say, yes, I don't know about it. Sorry, I don't know about it. That's like 50% of my responses during my interview, and they actually work. So please try that too if you don't know stuff that they ask. And another thing is, if you know something partially, so what you can do is you can just say about whatever you know, and you can say, okay, I'm not sure if that is the process, but I think it would be something like this, whatever you know. And I don't know more than that, and that's all. You have answered your question successfully, and then don't expect you to know more than that, because that's very fine for an answer. And whatever you know, have confidence in saying that. And I know this last part is very funny, or like you would say, how can you have fun? Like I would say, do your best and have fun. But during an interview process, you should have fun, because most of the people there, they are here to check you. They are here to test you. They're not here to like attack you. So most of the interviewers, they put you in that miserable situation that we all know, knowingly. They want to see how you do under pressure. They want, because in the industry, when you are working under a team and there are a lot of things going wrong all the time, they want people who can be calm and can still contribute to them. So that is one of their testing phase, and not actual interview process. So what you can do is start having conversation with them, have fun how they are asking questions. You learn about them. Even you can ask questions to them. Okay, how and have a pleasant time with them. Try to make them feel like you can belong to a team and you are part of them. And that is one of the qualities they are looking during that miserable time. How good a team player you can be. So have that, and you are all set. I don't think anything else will be needed for any interview whatsoever after this. For operations, you are covered if you follow that much, like more than 90%. Yeah. Yeah, so Trivikram will take over from here. And
Piyush, just one question. Do you know any other companies that hire operation engineers apart from Endurance? Just wondering.
Actually, Endurance is the first company, very few companies that come in campus and hire DevOps. But the thing is, this process is actually different under different companies. And mostly what they do, they hire people from all the other job roles that for less paying jobs and all that. And after that, they start pushing the people into different roles after 6 months or maybe 1 year. And they go, and then people end up in DevOps a lot. So this is how most companies work, but Endurance is a bit different.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that out because I think not everyone knows what operations engineering is, and they probably never seen these roles. Okay, anyway.
Hey, Trivikram, you can start.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was on mute. Yeah, so now I think we can discuss aptitude round, technical round, and coding round. And I think these are the most unpredictable rounds. You have very little control over, right? Even if you've been prepared for like months, weeks, you spent all your time, but if something goes wrong in a couple of minutes, things can go wrong, and you will end up in the wrong side of the result, right? So what I want you guys to understand regarding these rounds is you have very little control over them, or at least that's what it feels like. But there are a couple of things you can do to be prepared, and beyond that, you shouldn't try to do more than that. So what I'm saying is, don't obsess over these rounds, because when I think the first round that we had for Endurance was a written round, and they were basically the entire college took that test. It was a written test, and they were covering basics of some operating systems, some data structures, and some OS related, like algorithm related stuff. They had some MCQs, and the whole college took it, right? So the point is, it, like, even if you think you're like really well prepared, but the result doesn't go your way, you can't help but feel like maybe you can lose some confidence. So what I'm trying to say is, these processes are probably not the best way to judge someone, but considering the size of how many people attend these recruitment rounds, there are no other ways to do this filtration. So companies resort to these things to do some level of filtration, depending on how many people they actually can physically interview. Right. So what you can, what the fundamentals I would say for these things are all the concepts that we talked about previously, including operations as well as engineering. Because the written test, at least for endurance, we didn't have any aptitude at all. There was no English or aptitude or anything like that. They just wanted to understand our technical skill, and they were all MCQs based on concepts that we learn in engineering, particularly CS and IS. But I think there are other companies that do have a aptitude round specifically. They want to understand what your problem solving ability is, like how well you solve puzzles and stuff like that. So I think, at least when I was undergoing placement training, we had very good resources. I think there was this company called Face, if I remember correctly. They had these booklets with these tiny concepts and sample problems to solve. I think that really helped me, although I didn't give any aptitude test. I think I've heard a lot of friends say that it was super helpful. I don't know who does placement training right now for your batch, but at the time it was called Face, and they had these booklets. And then for coding, I think this is pretty much like obvious, right? You all know HackerRank, CodeChef, and LeetCode. So these are platforms for competitive programming, where there's a bunch of problem statements, and you are asked to write some code within some constraints, and then they have leaderboards to see how well someone is doing on that platform and stuff like that. But I think most of the coding rounds that you will go through will be hosted on one of these platforms. But I think Endurance itself has their own platform. They don't use any of these. They have their own solution, which they hosted on our lab, and we had to use that. Okay, so and the coding round was interesting in Endurance because how it was designed was, they basically gave us the entire documentation of any language that we wanted to use, right? So if I wanted to code in Python, they gave me the entire Python documentation. So the idea behind that was, you don't have to by heart all these commands or different function definitions, what arguments they take, and that's not something you want to by heart, right? Because in your everyday job, you're going to be Googling most of these things, and nobody's going to learn them by heart. But the important thing is to apply all the things that you learned in engineering into your code. Your code should reflect all the things that you learned. So if you learned object-oriented programming, the code that you write for a given problem should reflect those things, those concepts that you learned. So that's the point of a coding interview. But I know not all companies do it like that. They don't give you any documentation. You are expected to know even the functions, even the commands, even the packages and stuff. But yeah, at least the way Endurance does it is, I think, a good way to do it. I think these are some of the topics I picked up when I was preparing for aptitude. You can look at numbers, percentages, time and work. If it takes 10 people to do this much work in these many days, how many would it take one person? Questions like that. And then speed and distance, ratio proportions, and basic profit and loss, and compound interest, and basic stuff like that. And on the other side, you can look at permutations and combinations. I think as engineering students, all of us have studied math, right? At least for 2 years. So I'm sure this will be a breeze for most of you. Decoding and coding questions, and then clocks and calendars, some basic reading comprehension. I think some companies do this, although rare. And then sentence correction, and then basic vocabulary to understand how well you have how good your technical English is. I think, if I'm not wrong, this is also a subject for some batches. I'm not sure about that, but I believe I saw that somewhere. And for coding, it's pretty simple. Master one language to code in, and preferably it ought to be Python. This is like maybe I'm being biased, or I can't comment on that, but I personally think Python is the way to go when you want to participate in a coding round. And the reason I say that is maybe you are very good at Java, very good at C, maybe an expert or a master in that, but given the time constraint and the things you want to accomplish within that limited time in a coding round, Python simply makes it easier. They have a library or a function to do almost everything. And if you're able to leverage that, you'll be able to solve more in the given time that you have in the coding round. Let's say in 30 minutes, they give you 5 questions. You'll be able to solve at least 3 or 4 if you maybe use Python. At least this is what my experience has been, because I remember during my coding round, I think there were 30 people in the lab, and everyone who went on to the next round did their solution in Python. So it's not, maybe it's a bias thing, or maybe it's something else. But if you had to ask me, I'd recommend like practicing Python.
Hey Devik, I'm sorry to interrupt. Just to add to that, during that coding challenge, most of the people who were selected for that were not actually the ones who like did it right, but actually the ones who just completed the stuff, because many people were not able to do it on time and many people left. So that's where Python comes in handy, because it will at least let you to complete the thing, the objective that they have given to you.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I meant about Python. And also specific to endurance, so I think if I remember correctly, there were 5 questions with I think a couple of subsections within each question, and that was overwhelming, because I think we had 30 I'm not sure how much time we had, 1 hour or 1.5 hours, I don't remember, but it seemed overwhelming at that time because they seemed a little complicated and I wasn't sure how many I will be able to finish. But as I realized later that you don't have to finish them all. If they have 5 questions, I think it's very impressive, even if you manage to do 3. Right? And once you do those 3 problems, there's going to be someone who's going to verify or like understand what you did. And then he's going to ask you questions. Okay, why did you do this? And why did you prefer this way to do it instead of the other way? So I think that also plays a important role in creating an impression, whether you actually understand the code that you wrote and why you took a certain decision. Piyush, are you adding something?
During that process, they will actually also ask you if you are also contributing to any open source thing or not. They actually did for almost all of us, and it was a plus point when we were interviewing later. So please mind that as well. Just choose any technology and start with some small stuff, and you can add that when they ask you that question.
Yeah. Okay, I think now I think we are a little overboard with time, but I think there are a few more things we'd like to cover. So I'll try to quicken things up. Okay, so a couple of things that I probably think are important. This is my personal opinion. I think it's important to be yourself. It's important not to brag about everything. And also do not blatantly lie about something. If you, like Piyush mentioned, if you don't know something, it's better to say you don't know it, rather than to say you know it and then they try to probe further and then you go blank, right? So that's not something great. So like I think Piyush already mentioned this, just try to have a conversation and don't try to game the system too much. Like we're all used to gaming the system, be it entrance exams or a lot of the assignments that we write. We try to game everything and try to come out with the best outcome, but I think that doesn't always work, because I think everyone values honesty and integrity, right? So try to be yourself. And next thing I'd want to talk about is try to read about the company, read about what they do, right? So I think at least from my batch, all my friends and peers that were participating in the recruitment drives, they had no clue what a company was. Right? They just blindly go from one company to the next in a couple of days, and they're like completely dumbfounded when the interviewer asks them, "What do you think we do?" Right? They don't know. They don't know what the company does, what their products are, and who they sell to, and I think basic stuff like that I think is very important to know. And on the other side, I think there is no need to flatter them as well. You don't have to say you are my dream company, or I've been dreaming about working for you, or that it's like what I'm trying to say is it's easy to see through statements like that, right? So if someone tells you that, okay, I've been working for this interview since 5 years and it's my dream to work there, it's not very likely to be true, right? So I'm saying there's no need to be flattering. It's just important to know what you know, and then have a conversation about that. And another thing I also noticed was there are going to be some disagreements with the interviewer. This is especially the case with people with a lot of projects in their portfolio. They've done a lot of work, they've done a lot of internships, and they think they know everything about a particular topic. And in the moment, in the heat of the conversation, even though it may not be everyone's intention, it may be the case that you find yourself disagreeing with the interviewer on a couple of things. Maybe interviewer says this is the right way to do it, and you disagree with him, right? So you don't have to like tell him on his face that, oh, I think you're wrong, and obviously you don't know what you're talking about, and maybe you could avoid things like that, because I think this is an important thing that I found online. Your job is to get a job and not to prove the interviewer wrong, right? You don't get anything out of proving someone wrong. So try not to be stubborn about something, and because being stubborn and being confident are like, there's maybe a fine line between them, but it makes a lot of difference. Right. So yeah, that's one thing. And then this is very important. I think it's very important to ask meaningful questions. Like, I know many of you already know this. Okay, it's good to ask questions, but try to make them meaningful. Don't ask questions for the sake of questions, because I found myself in the interview every 5 minutes, the interviewer kept asking me, do you have any questions, do you have any questions? And at one point I didn't have any questions, but I tried to come up with something, because I wasn't really prepared to ask any questions. So I think it would help if you beforehand be prepared about what questions you want to ask, be it about something technical, or about something about the company, or maybe something financial about the company, about any news article that you've read, or any trend that you're interested in, things like that. So why this helps is you can actually use these questions to steer the entire conversation toward things that you really are good at. So let's say the interview is not going well, right? It's going in a direction where you don't know stuff. So use questions as a way to like bring that back to your strength. So if you're very good at a particular topic, let's say you're very interested in Linux, right? So if the interviewer is asking you something else, so you can ask him a question, okay, how much Linux do you use your company, and then try to bring that conversation towards stuff that you actually know about and can answer. So use your time well to do that. And I think Piyush also spoke about this. It's important to try. If an interviewer gives you a problem and you're trying to solve it, you take a look at it for a minute, and then after a minute you're completely blank, you don't know how to proceed, and you just give up. That is not going to help you, right? Even if you don't know how to solve, just try something, like and the interviewer is just trying to observe whether you're able to at least try and not give up just without even trying, right? So if there's a problem and you're absolutely blank, at least give it a shot and try to explore, even if it's not correct, or even if it's not vaguely relevant. Just keep attempting until they ask you to stop. Yeah, Piyush?
Yeah, just to quickly add to that, while you are answering some question and you don't know about it, like Trivikram said, just to try it out, what you can do is that you can speak out whatever you are trying to do with that particular problem, so that the interviewer can analyze whatever you are trying to do and what is the mentality is. Because sometimes we are just blank and we just don't speak at all, and we are trying to solve a particular question on a piece of paper, and until and unless the result is out, the interviewer cannot know what is happening. So instead of that, speak whatever you're doing, so that even if you don't come with an answer, the situation is towards your side in the end.
Yeah, so think of it like an 8 marker in your exam, right? So do you want to at least mention 4 points and get 4 marks, or do you want to just go blank and get 0, right? So that's, I think, one way to look at it. And this is also slightly underrated thing, I think. The people say some absurd things during interviews. I've heard from my own friends and people from other branches say stuff like this, right? So I think some of them wanted to start their own company, some of them wanted to pursue masters, and somehow the interviewer is able to extract this information out of you, and then you're losing out. So I think the company part is slightly tricky. Maybe startups are looking for some qualities that some entrepreneurship qualities or some enterprising skills. They may want to have that. They may want a candidate to have those qualities, but but I think not everyone is looking for that. And if you blatantly tell them you want to start their own company, then that they are definitely not going to be interested in you as a candidate. And on the other side, if you can see, I think this is like a very cliche thing, but I don't think many people ask this today. But if you do get asked this question, I think like, what are your weaknesses? I think it would be best to avoid very extreme statements like I work too hard, I sleep too much, and these are like very cliches that everyone can see through. So it's probably best to avoid them. I think this I already talked about. We research the company and the role. Yeah, this is important, right? If you don't know what the role is and what you will be doing in that role, you look very bad in the interview because you've applied for it, you've cleared all the rounds, and then you come up to the interview, and then you don't know what you're going to be doing in your day job for the next couple of months or years. It's going to reflect badly. And also research the selection process. I think every company has like a unique selection process. I've shared you some things that I went through with Endurance, but every company has their own way of doing things. And I think Geeks for Geeks, there's actually a section that talks about that where students share their experience of what all the rounds were and which round had what in them, and especially for big companies like Amazon and even Endurance, I think there's some couple of posts where people talk about even the questions that they were asked and how many rounds of interviews they had and stuff like that. I think this will really help. Yeah, Pete,
just to quickly add to that, like I said in my part, that they test you under pressure. So it's actually true for Informatica. They actually have this, like after the interview process, they actually told that to the candidates. So beware of that. And I think a lot of other companies do that as well. So it's a common thing.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, make a resume. I know this seems like a very basic thing, very obvious thing, but I was surprised personally at how many people last year did not even have a resume. The college at the last moment, they had to give out a template and make it mandatory for everyone to fill out a sheet of paper with a bunch of skills they have and stuff like that. So don't let it come to that. Have a resume made well in advance and keep a couple of copies of it. Don't show it off on your smartphone. I know this might not be the case right now because I think your recruitment might be online this year, but in general, just make sure you have a relevant resume for the job you're applying, right? So yeah, this is very important. Don't rely on college to at the last moment send out a template and ask you to fill that out. Yeah, and it's important to highlight relevant skills for your recruitment. So be it your resume or be it your interview, make sure you have the relevant skill. So if you're applying for operations position or a development position, and if your resume all it has is ML and data science, it doesn't look right, because that's not what you're going to be doing in the company. You're not going to do any ML or data science. Although these are nice skills, these are trending skills that everyone is talking about, but there are other help you more, especially for jobs like operations and development. So I mean, it's very easy to get carried away and do a lot of data science courses and a lot of ML courses and a lot of ML projects, and you showcase all these to your development interview, and they don't really add value. So I think I also made this mistake. I think I highlighted a lot of things that I worked on the ML side of things, which I think the interviewer was curious at for a bit, but beyond that, it didn't really help me much. I had to fall back on my other projects, which were not ML and data science, right? Yeah. And also, please pay attention to your placement cells guidelines. I know they're sending you a lot of emails about what to do, what not to do, but I'll be honest with you. There are like so many companies and so many engineering colleges out there, right? But our placement cells relationship with these companies is basically what determines which companies are going to visit us year on year. So if you look at Endurance, they've been visiting us for many years. And I think there are a handful of colleges they have that relationship with. So it's important to take advantage of that relationship that a college is maintaining for your sake, and try to do your best. So try to make sure you follow all the guidelines that they come up with, because another thing I wanted to mention is right, the college is not like obligated to give you a job, right? It maybe its reputation is at stake, where they are able to create that opportunity for you, but beyond that, it's all up to you to make the most of it and uh, crack these interviews. The college is not responsible to give you a job. They won't come to your house and on a platter deliver a job to you, right? Their responsibility ends at the point where they give you the platform, they give you the opportunity to just participate in these recruitment drives. Beyond that, it's all up to you. So just try to follow all the guidelines, and don't blame anyone for if something went wrong, and try to work it out with the placement cell if you have any problems or issues and any concerns, right? And I think this was a funny thing, at least the last year, where people, especially in the hostels, they weren't exactly presentable in the interviews. Right? So I know Placement Cell keeps insisting on a lot of these guidelines. So I really suggest that you take them seriously. But I think this situation won't pertain to you guys now, because most of the process might be online. But you get the idea, right? Okay, I think this is one slide which I also felt was important. Embrace rejection. There's like a lot of companies out there, even though we are in grim times and all this seems very overwhelming. You have time, you have resources, you have people to help you, you have a lot of seniors to get guidance from. And so even if you have given up, our college hasn't. Every day, our college, our placement cell is trying to get more companies, to visit our campus, to get more people placed. And, our college is trying harder than us sometimes. So, and, to take advantage of that and, make the most of these opportunities being given to you. And even, if you don't, even if placements in college don't work out that well, there are so many companies out there where you'll just be able to apply off LinkedIn or off the company's own website, of your seniors who can refer you into their companies. So there's a lot of avenues. It's not the college placements are not the end of the road, right? They do make it a couple of notches easier for you, but it's not the end of the road. So like I said, just make use of this opportunity, because it's brutal out there, right? If you want to get a job off like outside placements, I think it's very difficult. I think all of us had it easy, at least all the companies that visited the campus, because of our college's relationship with all these companies. I think these tips are from Dawal, who couldn't make it. He says, don't do a full nighter a day, sleep well, and also have a calm mind. And I think the third point has to do with a hostel inside joke. I'm not sure. And also keep yourself hydrated. So these are from Dawal. I think now we can open up to some question and answers. If you guys want to unmute yourself and ask us something, we'd be happy to answer them.
If you cannot talk, you can put that into the chat box as well.
Nobody has any questions? This is the right platform. If you'll have anything to ask, please ask. If we are going as per schedule, 3rd August is when your placements will start. So you have another 2 weeks left. Please find out from your seniors how best you can prepare yourself and get ready for your placement season.
I know there's 250 people on the call, but okay, yeah, we have a question. What's the one quality that interviews really value? Piyush, do you want to take that?
Okay, in mine, when they actually told me about it after the interview process, while I was during my internship, people actually liked how I presented all my content, as well as how I was honest about if I knew stuff about something, and that is because they were into the industry for 5 or 10 years against what you will instead you are lying on. So it's better to be honest, and they actually appreciate, because during a team meetings or during a project part, they actually want people, if they don't know something, they will ask their teammates. So they want that quality. There are other questions. What kind of candidates is Endurance are looking for? For Endurance, I can say that, hey Tribhuvan, can you answer the last two? I'll take this one.
Yeah.
For the Endurance, I can say that they want people who are trainable and are good as team additions. They want you to just be the guys who can get into their team and be a great part of it. You can share content with them. You are open to listen to them, and of course they don't want a know-it-all, because they don't need that. And a fun guy, because during my interview process, I was talking about Ghibli films as well as other stuff with the guy who was interviewing with me, and it was my way of having a conversation with him, and we were having discussion about Pop OS, what type of operating system I'm using right now. I have tried anything else like that? So be a fun guy, and they will literally appreciate you for that.
Okay. The next question we have is, to what extent should you know a programming language to crack the coding rounds? I think, yeah, like I mentioned, at least from an endurance perspective, you don't need to know a lot about any language, because we are actually given the documentation of that language. So you're able to look up stuff. You're able to look up functions to do a particular task. But the important thing is you have to be well versed with it. In that sense, I mean, you should be able to solve a problem. Basically, do whatever you want. Look up whatever function you want, but just solve the problem. And if you think you can do that better in Java, if you think you can do that better in C, go ahead and do that, right? But just solve the problem. That's the intention of a coding round. What are the major topics asked in coding round? Okay, again, coding round, I don't think there are any topics that are asked in coding round. It's more about your problem solving ability. So, I mean, so I wouldn't say that coding round they test you on data structures. They would want you to use linked lists or something advanced, or graphs or trees, nothing like that. They're not going to test you on those concepts. They just want you to solve a problem based on what you already know or what you already think you're good at. So that is the point of a coding round. You just solve the problem. It's like a math problem, but you have to write code to express your solution. That's what a coding round is.
For what can we expect from an operations role? So operations is not just one part of a company. It's a very wide role. At least 100 teams work on it to make it happen. So it depends on which team you are assigned to. But it's mostly concerned with the servers and maintaining them. So there is a lot of, when we plan some infrastructure, it's actually just hierarchy of servers, and if something fails, what we need to do next, and if there are things that are not going well, what can we do on that spot? So what so what we can are expected to do in that situation is to solve those issues if there are any issues, which is most of the time consumed into, and another is to figure out strategies that we can implement in the next period, which can actually make those remove those issues forever from the system, and also come out with new designs and new ways so that we can align the servers so that we can increase the flow as well as decrease the production cost. So it's mostly playing with servers. You will learn mostly about it when you join the company or the team, and they will have a different way of doing it. And you, so that's all.
Piyush, I think you can take the next one as well. Someone wants a YouTube playlist for.
Okay, for DBMS, actually my weakest point is DBMS, and for that I might have something that I can share with you, but I have to look it up, and I will share it to you. I think I will share it to the Ambika ma'am, and she can give it to you, or via some other ways. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The next one we have is, ideally, how many projects should one have on the resume? I personally think 3 or 4 projects is more than enough, but provided that you have a very well documented projects which are probably hosted as well, and if you have, just share the link, they should be able to take a look at it and understand it and use it. So 3 or 4 projects, I think, will 3 or 4 very good projects will really impress the interviewer, is what I think. What kind of questions can be expected in the technical round? I think by technical round, you mean to ask about the written round in the first round. I think technical round, they will ask you all the concepts that you learned in the second and third year, the same concepts that we spoke about in development and operations, like operating systems, data structures, linked lists and stuff. They will have some few theoretical and few numerical questions possibly in the written round. Can you share the links you mentioned for computer networks and others? I think Piyush will do that. And then is there negative marking in the first round, at least for endurance? I don't think there was. Piyush, do you remember that?
There was no negative marking. Everybody was filling everything.
Yeah, there was no negative marking. Okay, how long does the interview process last? Oh, okay. Yeah, so at least our interviews went on till 12 in the night. Yeah, 12:30 in the night. So yeah, we started out in the morning with all these rounds, I think at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it went all the way to 12:30.
I think.
Yeah, but maybe I don't think that will be the case for you guys. You will, because it's all online. I think you will have more breaks and they will probably be spread out more. So that's good. You'll be able to breathe. But yeah, I think in our case, it was like a long process.
For the next question, will the coding round have questions using graphs, trees, linked lists, and all? No, actually, they will give you a question mostly based on string manipulation at max or parsing a file. So don't worry about this advanced stuff. Maybe other companies, some companies might have a particular goal like that when they are coming, and they will actually highlight their role about it, and you will know if they are more focused on algorithmic part of it, or they are more focused on you knowing a particular language well.
Okay, and Pranav says we have 1 aptitude round, 1 coding round, 2 technical rounds, and 1 HR round for endurance. I think it's not an aptitude round, it's actually a technical written round. There was no aptitude in that. And I don't expect there will be an aptitude round unless they have told you otherwise. I'm not sure. And also with regard to 2 technical rounds, I don't think that's like a fixed thing. It's not going to be like fixed. If they want to probe you more, I think there was some people who had almost 5 rounds of interviews, because they were going to interview both for operations as well as development, right? So there's going to be like 2 parallel sets of interviews. So I don't think it will be only 2. It might be more than that. Yeah, I heard it went until 12 midnight. Yeah, I did go until 12:30 midnight that day. And our different rounds conducted on separate days. At least for endurance, it wasn't. It was all held on the same day because they'd come from different places far off and they wanted to finish out on the same day. But since it's online for you guys, it might be spread. I'm not sure. You'll have to check with the placement cell. Okay, what type of projects they are expecting from our side, like based on PHP or ML or AL? Okay, I don't know what AL is, but okay, so projects I think should be focused to what role you're applying, like we spoke about. And I don't think the language matters. It could be PHP, it could be Django, it could be Node.js, it could be React, it could be anything, right? But
yeah,
the important thing is the solution that you've built. What is it doing? What is it accomplishing? And like how advanced, like how usable is it? How well documented it is? I think that's what's important for projects.
In operations, you might be working with 5 or 6 languages depending upon your team. So language doesn't matter at that scale. What they expect you to know are the fundamental skills, how you are gonna do something. So that should be reflected in your project. Every project should at least represent one of your aspects that you have learned while working on that project. And you should mention that when you do the documentation or to the interviewer.
Yeah. Is there any eligibility criteria to sit for placements? I think most companies do ask for some CGPA. I think it's 7 or 7.5. I'm not sure. But I think for endurance, it was lower than that. I don't remember. Maybe you can go through the emails that the placement cell sends out. Yeah, and what does Endurance do? Okay, can you describe what Endurance does as a company? Okay, so Endurance is a web hosting and domains company. They sell domains and they sell hosting packages to small and medium businesses, and also bloggers and people who want to get online and people who want to start a business. So I think you will know more when endurance visits, I think there will be maybe one or two of us joining you that day to tell you more about endurance. You can get more information then.
Does time complexity matter in coding round? So no, they don't look at that until and unless they are an algorithmic company like Hacker Earth or something like that. I think some company like that came who is aiming for agriculture or something, and they wanted people to be good at algorithms. But mostly they are looking for how you do error handling and all. So first, what you can do is first try to finish the task, and if you still have time, you can do the error handling. Else, you can explain how you could have done that when they ask you about your particular coding problem.
Agriculture company, was it Ninja Kart?
Yeah, sorry, Ninja Kart.
Oh, okay.
I didn't sit for it. The first one was an issue.
Yeah. Okay. What is expected from students of non-IT background? Okay, I will be honest with all of you. I think there won't be any distinction whether you're from EC or IS or CS. You won't get any other consideration based on your branch. I think most companies treat you the same. It's basically about what you know and what they're looking for. And if there's a sync between that, then you're through, right? So there's no different set of expectations from non-IT background. Is that correct, Piyush?
Yeah, definitely. All your guys are same under their eyes, and they will treat you the same and ask you the same questions. So don't think like.
But yeah, I think it can be very demotivating for other branches like EC or EEE. But what I want to share is, I think my own interviewer was from EC. So when he like at that time, a lot of people used to do EC, and I had a conversation with him, and he described how challenging it was for him to break into computer science, and he shared his experience of how fun it was actually to do that. So he says he knows a lot of things about semiconductors as well as computer science, and he's very glad about his choices. So I would say don't be demotivated if you're not from CS or IS. I will agree that it will be a bigger challenge, but I think you'll have to find ways to beat that deficiency.
They won't ask you a lot of like tough questions or from very deep inside from CS. They will just want you to know the overview of it. So if you know that, you all have fair chance for that. For any IT company.
Yeah. Okay. Specific to endurance, what is that? I don't know what that is.
I think that's
what
supposed
level.
to be
What level?
Oh,
type.
level. Okay, my bad. Okay, what level and type of questions will they be asking for first round? Will it require in-depth knowledge? I think it was all basics. Like it could probably be a 1 marker in your theory exam, something like that.
You can find them online, all those previous year questions, right, for interviews. Just go with that, all the technical ones like SQL and all, and DNS, what DNS does. That's all you need for this.
Hello. Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I have one question based on your last statement that not all they treat all branches the same. So we get our basics straight. We sit for placements. Is it going to be challenging for us once we get through the company? Do we expect any higher end of CS knowledge to be gained? Because I'm not from a computer background, and I'm not sure what I can expect post placements.
Okay, I think you needn't worry that much about that right now, because once you join a company, it's going to be seamless. They're going to train you. They're going to, like, if there's any deficiency, they will train you in anything that you're not aware of or you don't know. Because once they hire you, they have decided that they want you, and they like your skills, they like your ability to learn. So beyond that, you will be trained on what you will be working on. So you probably are thinking too ahead. You shouldn't worry about that right now.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
The last, I think this question is the first round selection based on cutoff or top end people? Yeah, definitely. Endurance, I think, is the one company who had a very low cutoff so that they can interview a lot of people. And I don't think this might be true for other companies that come. But yeah, this is true. They have a cutoff.
Yeah, I think it's, at the end of the day, it's how much resource they have to interview all of you. They can't interview 600 people, right? So depending on how many people they are available to interview you, how many they want to shortlist, how much they want to filter. It all depends on that. So that's why I said these rounds are very unpredictable.
What about HR rounds? Like, how was your experience for it? HR rounds were the shortest ones, and they were just the last ones. So they just asked us 2 to 3 questions about what you will do in a particular situation. What if your coworker is having such an thing, and how will you handle it? Or if your teammate is not doing a particular thing that was asked for you two guys, how will you handle it? So the best way to answer those questions, in my opinion, would be like, okay, so I had a particular experience like that in my past internship, and what I did there was this, and this particular thing helped me in that situation. So that is the best way to answer it, because otherwise you might fall into, okay, what if this doesn't happen, or what if that doesn't happen, like that. So if you can try that template.
I think personally, I think once you make it to the HR round, it should be smooth sailing unless you make some blatant errors, which I talked about in one of the slides. Like I want to do a master's, I want to start my own company, and if you can avoid like small things like that, I think it should be a breeze. HR interview. Okay. I think he means to ask, are internships necessary? I think, yeah, I think they do help if you have some experience working in a company already, but I wouldn't say anything is necessary. Nothing is ever necessary. It's all about how much value each aspect of your application is adding to the entire process.
The internship shows them how good a team player you can be. That's the max it can show you. And if you don't have a particular skill set that you have learned from that internship that are available for in that company, it's very rare, but yeah, it might can.
Will there be any online judge in coding round? Can you elaborate, Deepak? I'm not sure I understand. You can unmute. I mean, I don't know why no one's saying anything.
Hello. I'm asking that will be, the online coding round would it be like will be provided with some HackerRank or website link so to solve questions in given time and pass the test cases.
Okay, I think that depends on the company. I think most companies do use those platforms, but specific to Endurance, they have their own platform, and you will just have to pass an auto checker. I think it's like an auto grader. It evaluates your solution, and then that solution, one person will come and ask you about it, like to talk about it or to explain it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Rahul, I will share the recording after this. Did you face any GK questions specific to Endurance? We did not have any GK questions. We didn't even have any aptitude questions. It was all technical questions. But I think, yeah, there are companies that ask English questions and GK questions. I'm not sure which companies. Is that all? Okay. Oh, yeah, one more question. Will certification from AWS, Microsoft, Cisco help in interview? Yes, I think they will help you. Especially from AWS. I think in Endurance we do use a lot of AWS, but it's not an expectation that you have a certification, but it will at least help if you know stuff about it. But yeah, I think it will help. Piyush?
Yeah, the same thing. It's not important, but AWS these certificates can really help you for operations.
Do they ask more of application-based questions, Piyush?
Application. I didn't get that question. Can you tell me what do you mean with that? Application-based questions. With that, I can infer it might be like how we are gonna implement something, or like based on implementation in real life or something. No, that would be represented by a projects that you have did. So they, if they can be used for those projects can be used for showing what are the applications of the algorithms or the ideas that you had, as well as the things that you have learned. They won't ask you questions based on that. No. Any Q&As? If from non-CS background, I'm not sure what Q&S is. Trivikram, if you know that.
I think he means questions. Will they ask any questions regarding core subjects if a student is from non-CS background? Yeah, I think that depends on the interviewer. If the interviewer is from EC and he wants to maybe see how well you know some concept that he also knows about, maybe he can ask you questions regarding that, but I don't think it's very common. But yeah, I think, yeah, that's completely normal to do. Because like Piyush mentioned, they want to know how well you are able to learn something. So if you're able to learn something very well in EC or EEE or something the interviewer knows about, then that will convince him that you can learn computer science as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and you can also follow the whole process of computer science, and that's the max they would be interested in. If you know how things work under the hood and everything is related to the other, that is more than enough for that part. And there are some specific topics that we mentioned in development as well as in the operations. Those are the specific things that they ask, other than the whole process in general. I've shared the resource, I think, in this PPT that will help you to have that all in one go. Okay. So any last questions? You guys can also ping us after the presentation anytime you want. So no problem for that. Trivikram, can we arrange a group or something like that? Something on
So
Telegram.
what I will do is Trivikram and Piyush, I think there's one more question. So once that is done, if it's all right with you guys, I can share your email IDs, or if you're okay with it, your WhatsApp numbers also, so that students can directly get in touch with you. You let me know what you're comfortable with, either email IDs or your phone numbers.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Okay. The last question is being socially inactive on LinkedIn or any other platform considered a disadvantage in HR round? So I don't think it's a disadvantage, but I think it does help to your advantage. So yeah.
According to me, I am like literally socially inactive on LinkedIn or any, like I don't use Facebook or like that, Instagram. So it was not a problem in HR round or in any round. But when you get hired, they will ask you to follow all the social channels that they make. So you can do that later.
Yeah, Rahul, I think we'll share those slides. I think it has all those links for resources. You can refer those.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for staying in for an hour and a half. I think we went overboard for 30 minutes, but you had a lot of questions and you sat through the whole thing. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Trivikram and Piyush. I think if Dhaval was there, we could have thanked him as well. But anyways, like I said, the recording will be shared, and your email IDs, if it's all right. Okay, I can share with the students. And I was just remembering that, in fact, Piyush, I think I had almost stopped you from attending the Endurance Placement Drive because you had missed the placement training. And in fact, I think I challenged you saying this is the only company that I will be allowing you to sit for.
There were a lot of guys who were not able to attend the Ninja Kart one for their own reasons. And then we were stopped for attending that. And the next day we requested a lot from Ambika ma'am. And finally she agreed based on our reasons. And we were happy for that. And we tried really hard.
So that's what I was trying to mention, that I had asked Piyush, I told Piyush, in fact, that Endurance is the only company I'll allow him for. And he has to get placed. And he took it as a challenge and he got placed. So what I'm trying to say is that is the kind of motivation that people are looking for when they come in for placements and to hire you guys. Okay, so that is the kind of motivation with which you need to be preparing for your placements as well. All right. So I hope this session was useful for you guys. And please, like I said, I will be sharing the recording as well. And try to do well, get placed. And please remember, have an offer in hand before you leave campus. Because once you exit campus, it is very, very difficult. Because like Trivikram had mentioned, everything is coming to you on a platter while you're in college itself. So try to get placed and do well. All right. So all the best to you guys. And thank you so much, Piyush and Trivikram.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. And how many companies are coming this season, if you can tell? What's about
So
that?
again, I've been repeating
Till
this
now?
over again. Do not worry about the number of companies that will be coming, because they will be coming. Worry about how well you're going to get placed or how prepared you are to get placed. Okay. So companies will come. That should not be your worry at all right now. That is something that the placement cell will be working on. And trust me, we are trying very, very hard to get the best companies for you guys. So don't worry about that. Just be on your way to prepare very well for your placement season. That is all from our ask. Is the rest of it, you don't have to worry. It's our headache. All right. So don't worry about your number of companies that will be coming.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for attending, and thanks for all your questions. I think on August 3rd, maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe one of us will be there, joining with the other people who are going to do all the rounds. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, maybe I'll see you guys then again.
Yeah, all the best, guys. Don't worry about it and have fun while doing it, and you are all good.
All right, guys. Thank you, Piyush and Vikram. I think you all can share the recording if you all are done with the session. And like
Sure.
I said, just let me know whether you want me to share your email IDs or your phone numbers with the students so that they can get in touch with you.
Sure, ma'am. We'll do that.
Sure.
We'll
Okay.
message.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.